Captain's log, stardate 44610.4. We will soon arrive at the Keystone mining colony in the Paka asteroid field. The size of a small moon, we are delivering needed medical supplies to this subterranean operation. Also on board is a group of medically trained religious for our following stop on the outer edges of Federation space to staff a medical facility. I understand their skills are quite needed to help combat a planetary pandemic that apparently humans are naturally immune to.
Captain, we have an incoming emergency message from the Keystone mining colony.
Computer, end log. Brother Matthias, put it through.
Aye, sir.
VSF Blessings. I'm so glad to see you. I'm Max Wilson, the sub-superintendent of this operation. We have an emergency.
And what is the emergency?
We've had a cave-in the mine.
Anyone injured?
Yes, several. We fear we may already have a few fatalities too, but unconfirmed. Superintendent Yelka is trapped with a small contingent. We are in communication with him now.
How may we help, Sub-Superintendent Wilson?
Please just call me Max. We need your ship and its transporters. How quickly can you be here?
Brother Matthias?
We're reasonably close already, but at maximum warp. I would say 30 minutes tops.
We'll have to take it.
Matthias, increase to maximum warp.
Aye, sir.
We're on our way at top speed, Max. What can we do in the meantime?
My lead mining engineer can describe our plans for your transporter to you better than me.
Lead mining engineer. I get the feeling we're not just beaming up survivors then.
Unfortunately, no. Too much interference from the minerals at the depth. Our primary group of survivors is trapped in a void. There's a single large stone, a keystone if you will, holding up tons of rock above their heads. This keystone is developing fissures, so it's a matter of time before it fails on top of them. If we can at least beam away some of the weight above them where our sensors can scan, it should buy us the time we need to rescue them as we dig a side tunnel.
Then I should bring our engineer, Brother Patrick, into the conversation.
I would imagine so. Thank you, Captain.
You are quite welcome. I pray we are in time to make a difference and save lives. VSF Blessings, a Star Trek fan production. We may live in a broken world, a broken universe. There is good and evil, right and wrong, light and dark. But we can be the good. We can do what's right. We can be the light. And we can do it in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Are we within transporter range yet?
Almost, sir. The lead mining engineer has given me his coordinates at their external port, so we wouldn't have to compensate for the mineralogy.
Did you get his name? You two dove into the details so quickly that I never heard it.
There was no time for pleasantries, but his communications tag says Ben Keystone.
Is he part of the Keystone mining family?
Unknown, sir. The thought never occurred to me. All I know is he is insistent about handling the transporter controls himself. I wish it were me.
Is he qualified?
He served in Starfleet for a while and has experience with this model of transporter, he claims.
Have you confirmed?
Of course I have. He was in Starfleet. He scored high marks. Whether he used this model of transporter, he certainly would have had the opportunity given the ships he served upon.
Then I currently see no reason to deny his insistence. He certainly should know the mine and its complexities better than we do.
That is true, Captain. We are within range now, sir. He's signaled he is ready.
Energize.
Aye, sir.
Hello, Mr. Keystone. Welcome to the VSF Blessings.
Thank you, Captain. I apologize for being blunt and rude, but we have no time to spare. Are we in position yet?
We should be moving there now, per your instructions.
Yes, we have just arrived and come to a synchronized stop with the mining colony.
Good. I have the latest scans from both Superintendent Yelka from inside the mine and my team from above. The minerals start reflecting our scans the deeper you get. They have to be unraveled or untied like a knot, if you will. My algorithms help speed up the process.
Impressive.
Okay, now to match these results up to the geodetic marks, or survey markers, as some call them. There. That should do it. If you look at this map of the mine, Superintendent Yelka and his companions are here. The side tunnel they are building is here. They're getting nearer, but not there yet. The keystone that's critically close to failing from the weight above it is here. We're going to beam away the material above it in this region. It should take 3 cycles of the transporter, with each subsequent beaming being deeper than the last.
That seems like a logical plan.
We'll check with Superintendent Yelka between each cycle to judge how things are going.
Anything you need before we begin?
No, let's start now. Claxton to Yelka. I'm ready to proceed. How about you guys?
As ready as we'll ever be. Those fissures in the Keystone have grown quite a bit.
Okay, commencing cycle 1 of the transporters, now. Yelka, how's it going?
So far, so good, Ben.
Commencing cycle 2, now. Yelka, are you doing okay down there?
A little rumbling, but yes.
Good. Commencing the 3rd and final cycle 3 now. Yelka, how's it going?
What just happened?
What do you mean?
There was a bright flash. The transporter beam, maybe? It's so dark down here that any light looks bright. But I'm looking up into complete darkness now. Where did the Keystone go?
What?
It's gone. I hear rumbling now.
Take cover! Take cover by the walls! Take cover in crevices! Take cover, Yelka! 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 Anyone!
What's happened? What's happened?
I'm not sure. I don't know how it could have happened. I just don't know.
Don't know what?
I think I beamed the Keystone away. The life-saving Keystone. And they were all just crushed to death. I killed them. I murdered them.
Brother Matthias, what's that?
That's the proximity alarm. That doesn't make sense. We've been following the flight plan closely since we entered this cargo tunnel, heading to the docking port. But the ship's sensors show us getting closer and closer to one of the walls.
Close enough the proximity alarm was triggered?
Yes, sir. I've asked Brother Patrick to run a diagnostic.
In the meantime, trust your instincts, Matthias. They've served us well so far.
Will do, sir. We'll be ready to dock in 10 minutes.
Good. Our medical guests are eager to help as soon as they can get through those port doors.
We were lucky they were on board.
It is certainly a fortuitous blessing. Jeremiah to medical team, 10 minutes to go. Remember, stay safe. Don't do anything crazy like running into an unstable mine shaft. You can help more people alive than injured, or worse, dead.
Understood, Captain. We're here to help, but also have a next assignment that's just as important with the planetary pandemic.
Indeed. Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God of all goodness, look with mercy on all who suffer injury within this community, that they may be comforted. Let your hand of healing and protection be upon them. Sub-Superintendent Max, our medical staff is currently lending a hand with your injured. Your previously allotted medical supplies have been unloaded. What's the status of the situation?
It's grim, Captain. Superintendent Yelka and 8 others were killed in the latest collapse, in addition to the 3 confirmed dead in the first one. 25 injured.
I'm so sorry, Max.
This recently became a more heavily trafficked tunnel, thanks to a new mining area being opened. It could have been worse, though.
I see.
What I don't get is why it all happened in the first place. Claxton Mining has a platinum record in the mining industry. No collapses that resulted in such injury and death in many, many decades. We take extra precautions above and beyond Federation standards to keep our people and assets safe. Why now?
Is Ben Claxton part of the Claxton mining family?
Yes, he is. They're good people. Always have been. My father worked for them too. This is going to be quite the scandal when it gets out that Ben was responsible for the transporter accident that killed the 9 people, including the superintendent.
Sadly, it may be. Any ideas on what happened to cause the Keystone to be beamed away? Ben reviewed his plans with us ahead of time. That definitely was not part of his stated plan.
No, it was not. And no, we know nothing yet. Ben's beside himself with guilt. We haven't had much chance to investigate any of it further, as key personnel are occupied shoring up the failed mining areas.
Do you mind if I have my people take a look since yours are tied up? It just doesn't make sense.
I don't mind at all as long as you take precautions to preserve the evidence. There will be a formal inquiry.
Thanks, Max. I'll let you know if they find anything.
I appreciate all your help, Captain. Despite the unfortunate outcome with the transporter, you were our closest hope, and you're still providing it. Thank you, your crew and your guests, Father Jeremiah.
How goes the detective work, Brother Patrick?
The forensic copy of the data that Sub-Superintendent Max ordered took longer than anticipated, but I'm knee-deep into it now.
Good. This whole affair is terrible. Just terrible all the way around.
I agree, it can make it hard to see God's greater plan at times.
I know. We can only have faith during such times.
Faith and works, brother. Faith and works.
Speaking of works, we have finished unloading their medical supplies, plus the extra we replicated for the injured.
Do they need anything else from us?
No, our medical team is working alongside the mining colony's medical staff and have it all under control. They have plenty of volunteers from their fellow miners as well. As a matter of fact, I was feeling like I was in the way. Is there anything I can help you with?
I'm glad you asked. Brother Matthias had asked me to run a diagnostic on our navigation sensors.
Do you know why?
No, but it should be listed in the request he logged in the system. He's always good at providing the needed details. It would help if you could run it while I dig through the mine's data.
Okay, I'll look into it right now.
Father Jeremiah, over here.
Hello, Max. You wanted to see me?
Yes, Ben and I do. We've been discussing what happened, and he wanted to confirm some scans of the area and the collapse. The whole incident is eating him up inside.
I can imagine so.
Ben, Father Jeremiah is here.
Thanks for coming, Father. I'm sorry to bother you, but something isn't right about all this, and I just can't put my finger on it. It's not that I think I'm perfect or anything, but I cannot believe that a mistake of mine caused all these deaths.
That's what Brother Patrick seems to think, too. So why did you need me to come here?
As the details of the incident leak out, Ben's popularity isn't what it used to be around here. Some people are downright angry. Ben wanted to take these scans himself. So rather than feed into the negative mood with a security detail,
You thought the presence of the sub-superintendent and a priest would put a different spin on things. That's why you changed from calling me Captain Hollis to Father Jeremiah.
something like that.
I hope we haven't offended you, Father.
Not at all, Ben. I think it's an excellent idea.
Not much gets by you, Father.
If only that were so. There is something that has been bothering me, though.
What's that?
We're inside an asteroid. Sure, it is a large one, perhaps the size of a small moon, but you have Earth-standard gravity.
Yes, we have gravity plating installed throughout the complex.
But when Superintendent Yelka and the others were trapped in the void with the crumbling Keystone overhead, why didn't you reduce or turn off the artificial gravity to help save them?
That was actually the first thing we tried to do, but it was non-responsive.
Yes, the local controls must have been damaged.
We even cut power to the area, but the gravity remained unchanged.
You cut the power, and even that didn't work? Doesn't that sound strange? I mean, I know the plating's internal capacitors would still hold a momentary charge, but they typically drain rather quickly, within minutes at most.
You're right. It's like they were receiving power from another connection or source.
How could that be?
Excuse me, sirs, I think we should get moving along. A crowd's gathering.
Father Jeremiah, this is my assistant mining engineer, Archie Campbell. He's my right-hand man here.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Campbell.
Same here, Father. Please call me Archie. Everyone does.
Of course, Archie.
Archie's correct. Let's move along to get those scans.
Of course.
As you can see, we've been quite busy here, Captain. Some of my team are fresh out of medical school, but they all performed admirably. Triage such as this isn't for the faint-hearted.
They've proved their mettle in the field. I'm impressed. What's the current status?
Things have stabilized. Colony personnel are working to extract the bodies of Superintendent Yelka and the others. The local medical staff have everything under control now. There's actually not much more my team can do.
I see.
I guess we're ready to move on to our actual assignment to help with the planetary pandemic. When can we continue with our journey, Captain? Their need is greater than what's left here.
I agree. It is time to move on. I'll have the crew start preparing to leave immediately. Start gathering your team on board.
Thank you, Captain.
Hollis to Brother Matthias. It is time to leave the Claxton mining colony. Please ensure the VSF Blessings and her crew are ready to leave in the next 30 minutes.
Aye, sir.
Let's undock and proceed up the transport shaft to open space, Matthias.
Undocking now. Turning to align to the navigation points to follow the path out.
Captain, I wish we'd had more time at the mining colony to help with their investigation. I don't feel that Ben had anything to do with this. You saw the man's face when it happened. He was as shocked and horrified as we were.
I know, Patrick, and I agree. There will be a full investigation performed. They'll get to the bottom of it. In the meantime, despite our personal interests here, we have to get to our next destination post-haste. Is that the proximity alarm again, Brother Matthias?
Proximity alarm?
Yes, Captain. It makes no sense. Brother Patrick, you completed a diagnostic on the navigation system, right?
Yes, Brother Ethan completed it. I looked over the results, and the diagnostic found nothing of note.
Then why are we so close to the shaft walls to trigger the proximity alarms? I'm following the navigation points and path we received from the colony precisely.
Yes, you are. Wait a second. That's it, Captain. We must contact Ben and Sub-Superintendent Max immediately.
What? Why?
I know what caused the accident. Ben's calculations were right. The paradigm was wrong. It's the keystone of it all.
Okay, Brother Matthias.
Contacting the Claxton mining colony now, sir.
Sub-Superintendent Max here. Miss us already, VSF Blessings?
Max, Brother Patrick has something important to share.
Sub-Superintendent Max, can we bring Ben into this conversation too?
Of course. He happens to be with me now. He can hear you.
Hello, Brother Patrick.
Is anyone else within earshot?
No, we are alone. What's up? What's so important?
When you tried to save your trapped colleagues, the Keystone was accidentally transported away. We checked and double-checked your calculations, scans, ran diagnostics on the transporter, and that simply should not have happened, correct?
Yes, we know that. What are you getting at?
We just undocked from your port, turned, and started our journey up the transport shaft. Almost immediately, our proximity alarm went off because we were getting too close to the shaft walls by following your navigation path. The same thing happened on our way in as well. What do these things have in common?
Of course.
What? What am I missing? What do they have in common?
I'm lost as well. Please explain more.
It's the geodetic marks. All of Ben's scans and calculations, plus our path out of the shaft, are based upon the assumption the geodetic marks are correct.
And am I to assume they're not?
They can't be. The geodetic marks are off.
But how is that even possible? Everything we do in this mine is based upon the accuracy of the geodetic survey markers. They are surrounded with multiple layers of protection. They don't just change. Only Superintendent Yelka, me, and you, Ben, can even access them.
I know. They must have been changed just prior to the accident. I mean immediately before. That way the scans I received would have been accurate, but with the last-minute shift in the geodetic marks, the transporter would have been off target.
Off target just enough for you to accidentally beam out the Keystone rather than just the rubble on top of it. This was murder, but you didn't do it, Ben.
Do you know what this means?
Someone within your mining colony did it intentionally.
Hold on. Before we get too carried away, we need proof. VSF Blessings, please hold your position. I don't want you to go running into our shaft walls if our geodetic markers are out of alignment.
Brother Matthias, hold our position.
Aye, sir.
Captain Hollis, let Ben and me investigate this more. It is of utmost importance that we keep this just between us for the moment.
Of course, Max. We understand completely. Let us know if we can be of any assistance.
Will do. Max out.
Is there anything we can do from our current position to truly confirm the geodetic marks are wrong?
I think so, by precisely determining our position within this shaft compared to where the marks say we are should definitely help.
Do it. I do not appreciate my ship, our ship, being used as a murder weapon. May God be with Max and Ben over there.
Aye, sir.
Yes?
Captain, I have Sub-Superintendent Max wanting to talk to you.
Please put him through, Brother Matthias.
Captain, your crew really hit the nail on the head. With our scans and the data you provided, the geodetic markers are definitely off. They're off significantly. When the transporter coordinates were corrected, it targeted the Keystone perfectly. It was precisely but quickly planned.
I imagine only a select few would have had the access to pull this off.
And only one would have had the intelligence to pull it off on the fly.
You already have your suspect list narrowed down, Max?
Yes, and he's in custody being questioned right now.
That was fast.
Yes, it was. If it wasn't for Brother Patrick and your team, Captain, we would still be scratching our heads. Thank you, yet again.
While I wish this entire tragedy never happened in the first place, as we all do, I'm glad we were here to help when needed.
Me too. We'll keep you informed once we know more.
My crew and I were hoping you would, Max, but we didn't dare ask.
You've all earned it, Captain. In the meantime, we are transmitting a corrected flight path for you to exit the transport shaft right now. You're free to continue on to your next stop. We'll be in touch, though.
What brings you to sickbay, Captain?
Hello, Brother Thomas. I haven't had much chance to talk with you the past few days. We'll soon be landing to unload the medical supplies. The medical team will be disembarking too.
I know. We've been in communication with the ground crew for a while now. Brother Ethan has everything sorted for efficient offloading.
Are you going to miss having fellow medical professionals on board?
As I continually remind you guys, I'm merely a medtech.
But still.
Have you ever heard that doctors make the worst patients, Captain?
Yes, I have.
Well, they make the worst guests in a tiny sickbay too. They've rearranged everything in my sickbay more than once. They've quote-unquote taught me how to use my own instruments multiple times.
I see.
They're very nice people. Don't get me wrong. It's just that traveling together on a small ship on a multi-day journey with the excitement of the Claxton mining colony's medical emergency in the middle breeds a familiarity that I'm not always comfortable with. I like the solitude this ship can offer at times.
I understand, Thomas. There are times when I like it too.
It didn't help that I was right in the middle of the triaging of the injured and dead mining colonists. I truly am just a part-time med tech. I witnessed things I hoped I never would have to.
I'm told you performed admirably.
I kept my head down and trudged forward, doing what I was told to do.
I'm sorry you had to experience all that, Thomas.
Thanks, I'll be fine with time. What bothers me more is the senseless loss of life. An accident is one thing, but knowing there was intent behind these deaths just flabbergasts me.
Me too.
Do we not know any more about who the culprit is yet?
No, but Sub-Superintendent Max assured me he would let us know more as soon as he could.
These things take time, I know. Patience is a virtue. I pray for more of it.
As do I.
Don't you have a ship to land on a planet's surface or something like that?
Something like that. I'm sure Brother Matthias could do it by himself by now. Still, I should probably be there. It was good talking with you.
Captain?
Yes?
Thank you.
For what?
For listening. You knew I needed that.
I did.
Sorry, to be the last one in the door, I came as quickly as I could.
Not a problem. Brother Matthias, can you please patch us in with Sub-Superintendent Max? He's waiting for our communication.
Of course, sir.
I see we have the entire crew here in the briefing room.
Yes, they wish to brief us all at once. It seems efficient that way.
Hello, Captain and everyone. Good to see the crew of the VSF Blessings today.
Good to see you two as well, Max and Ben.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for all you have done, from delivering medical supplies to lending a hand in the tragic events that transpired to helping figure out what really happened. You will always be welcomed with open arms by the Claxton mining colony within the Paca asteroid field.
Thank you, Max.
Ben and I just got back from the last funeral of the victims of the collapse. It was for Superintendent Yelka. We lost a good man.
We are so sorry for all your losses. Thank you for making time for us today.
There will be a memorial plaque placed near the incident so they are not forgotten.
Plus, the loved ones of all those impacted by the incident are being fully supported by the Claxton family. I expected no less from them, and they went above and beyond.
It's what needed to be done.
Now, before we continue the rest of this conversation, I must swear you all to secrecy. As you will learn, there are reasons I need to do this. May I trust that what you learn here stays here, at least for now, until this whole thing is resolved? Keeping this promise should not cause you any conflict, I hope.
On behalf of my crew and me, I promise it stays our secret for as long as you need, within our oaths of duty.
Good. I can expect no more. Now, where to begin? The first thing you must know is, thanks to the information you discovered and provided, we were able to quickly identify and apprehend the culprit.
Who was it?
It was Archie Campbell.
Archie?
Who's Archie?
My assistant mining engineer.
But why?
It seems that Archie was doing some extracurricular activities.
Indeed he was. As you know, the mineralogy of this asteroid makes direct scans difficult in many locations. Ben here has developed algorithms to help unravel the scans, but some areas of the mine are far more difficult than others. We list the areas that are the most impenetrable to our scans as anomalies on our maps.
On his own, Archie was apparently able to enhance my algorithms to unravel one of the anomalies.
Unfortunately, he did not tell us about his find.
No, he didn't. I suspect it was because of what he found. The temptation proved too great to keep it as his own.
What did he find?
Topoline.
Wow, that's a rare mineral used in life support systems, research equipment, and other high-level uses. Capella 4 is famous for it. It can certainly mess with the scanners, I've read.
It's also extremely valuable on the black market.
Oh no. I don't like where this is headed.
Don't read ahead too far, Captain. But yes, Archie decided to mine it on his own and find a buyer.
Archie definitely had the knowledge and skills, so he started his own unsanctioned illicit mine. It wasn't hard to hide since it was in an unused part of the mine. No real activity had happened in this area for years.
Until you opened up the new mining area. I remember Max mentioning how traffic had picked up in the area since then.
Yes, it had. Which set the sad chain of events into action. We believe Superintendent Yelka noticed some kind of unusual activity in the area and was checking it out. The next part of the story we don't think was intentional, but Archie was trying to cover his tracks.
To power his covert mining operations, Archie had tapped power off the gravity plating network. He was trying to disconnect it from this network so Yelka wouldn't find it when a power surge happened. Power backfed from Archie's batteries into the gravity plating, amplifying the local gravity field. Archie's mine was right above where the collapse happened.
The ceiling was weakened by the gravimetric surge and collapsed onto Yelka and the miners. Archie managed to escape through an alternative route unharmed.
Luckily for the time, most, like Yelka, survived in a large pocket of space protected by a keystone of rock holding back the rubble above. As you know, this stone was failing slowly. We tried to turn down the gravity, but it didn't respond. We tried to remove power from the gravity plating network, but that failed as well. We now know it was because of Archie's batteries continuing to supply the power.
Okay, that's making sense so far.
So the original collapse was more of an accident than anything intentional. There was still loss of life. 3 people, if I remember correctly.
Yes, on both accounts.
But how did things turn so dark after we arrived on the scene?
Well, Archie had found a buyer for the topoline. They took all he could supply and wanted more. They would not tolerate their supply line being cut off until the mine was exhausted. When Archie told them about Superintendent Yelka getting closer and what happened with the collapse, they told Archie to take care of him one way or another. If Yelka found out and their supply was cut off, Archie would be both exposed and later disposed of, in no uncertain terms.
But Archie's mine had collapsed too, didn't it?
Part of it, but not the part with the topoline. He could have picked up mining again later.
Archie is a bright young man and quick on his feet. Unfortunately, he can be impulsive and lack a certain empathy. He felt trapped, so he did as he was told. He quickly hatched a plan to take care of Yelka for good. Anyone who got in the way was collateral damage to his self-preservation.
8 other people dead is collateral damage.
In Archie's mind, regretfully, yes.
Archie was instrumental in the next phases of the rescue effort. In hindsight, we know why now, but at the time, he seemed to have the best ideas. He quickly dismissed any more attempts at shutting off power to the gravity plating. He found a safe but slow route for the rescuers to tunnel to the trapped people. He actually came up with the idea of transporters to relieve the weight from the Keystone.
Our internal transporters aren't mobile and are useless in this part of the mine because of the interference between the 2 points. We didn't have any cargo ships in port that were equipped appropriately. I'm sure Archie knew this when he shared his plan, but it made him look like part of the solution, even if we all failed. Then I thought of the VSF Blessings bringing medical supplies. You would have a transporter and could maneuver to the optimal location for transport.
If only we'd been closer or farther away. I don't know which would have been better.
We were where we needed to be.
I think Archie was hedging his bets. We needed to make progress in the rescue, but not too much progress. Superintendent Yelka could not leave that tunnel alive. If he was crushed by a crumbling keystone and all that was above it, Archie was safe. That wasn't happening fast enough on its own, though. You guys were coming too fast with your transporters.
And that's when he came up with altering the geodetic survey markers.
Yes, he is a bright young man, as I said.
One of the brightest mining engineers I've dealt with. He had a bright future ahead of him. Unbeknownst to me, My algorithm program that untangled the scattered scans and precisely located them using the geodetic markers as anchor points also provided backdoor access to these markers that no one knew anything about, except Archie. I could kick myself for not knowing that.
Stop that, Ben. It was still his actions that caused all of this, not yours.
Perhaps one day I'll start to believe that, Max.
So Archie was able to alter the geodetic markers with enough precision to trick you into beaming the Keystone away using the VSF Blessings transporters. He is quite bright and diabolical.
Diabolical is a good description.
And he may have gotten away with it if Ben hadn't locked out his algorithm program almost immediately after the accident. Archie could not go back and undo what he did to the geodetic marker calibration.
He stuck to me like glue after the incident, offering to look over my program multiple times. He was with us down by the collapse when you joined us, Father, so I could get more scans. He kept trying to help. He was still hoping to have a moment to cover his tracks.
Then we had to leave port and nearly hit the side of the transport shaft to put 2 and 2 together.
Exactly, Captain. While your ship may have been exploited terribly, it was also the key to bringing what justice remained for Superintendent Yelka and the other 11 victims. Your clues led us right to Archie. He was the only one with the smarts and access to pull this off. He didn't put up much of a fight in the end.
But why are we sworn to secrecy about this?
Because the buyer Archie was supplying was part of a crime syndicate that's been plaguing our minds for years. Starfleet has sent a team of investigators to find out more and hopefully shut them down. If the crime syndicate found out your crew was largely responsible for figuring this out, you may not be safe.
We simply cannot allow that to happen. This must end.
I do have my mission log that I sent back to VSF Command, but I can mark it in such a way that only a very select few have access to it.
I think that would be wise.
How about you two? Are you safe?
Starfleet and the Claxton family are doing all they can to ensure both we and the mining colony are.
What about Archie? What will happen to him?
The judiciary system has to do its thing, of course, to ensure justice is served. If found guilty, which we know he is, he'll be sent to a penitentiary to pay for his crimes.
But is he safe?
For now, yes. But once he gets to the penitentiary, it depends upon the reach of the crime syndicate and how successful Starfleet is in shutting them down.
Oh, what tangled webs we do weave.
When first we practice to deceive.
Sub-Superintendent Max and Ben, thank you for sharing all this, and thank you for considering our safety. The innocent loss of life and the waste of a lifetime are such unfathomable shames. We cannot take today for granted because we know not what tomorrow holds, nor what plots are against us. I can say from experience that you will heal with time. Perhaps not totally and never quickly enough, but you will heal with time.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Captain.
If you ever need us or just to talk through what has happened, please let us know.
We will. That offer goes both ways.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I close with a prayer, Father?
You're reading my mind, Brother Patrick.
Mine too.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, O Lord, grant us your wisdom and peace to understand and accept these tragic events. Grant us strength to get through these days.
You have been listening to VSF Blessings, a Star Trek fan production. Episode 5, Keystone. Created, written, produced, directed, and audio engineered by James McDonald. Story consultation provided by Noah McDonald. All character voices were generated using 11 Labs AI voice generator. Sound effects from Pixabay.com under free use content licenses and TrekCore.com. Star Trek and all related marks, logos, and characters are solely owned by CBS Studios, Inc. This fan production is not endorsed by, sponsored by, nor affiliated with CBS, Paramount Pictures, or any other Star Trek franchise, and is a non-commercial fan-made production intended for recreational use. No commercial exhibition or distribution is permitted. No alleged independent rights will be asserted against CBS or Paramount Pictures. Until next time, be the good, do what's right, and be the light.